So we're talking about the Pit, and I guess first thing what people would want to know is what inspired that song.
It's kind of a series of many events that inspired that song throughout my whole life, and also kind of vicariously writing about what I've seen other people go through. Obviously, this one's a little bit darker than most of the JD and the Pillar songs that we have released at the moment. And, the reason being was because I saw a really good friend of mine from Peterborough. Basically, he was doing really good. He was in a great band, and he was having a great time in Toronto, and things seemed to be looking really, really good for him. And then just, he went through a pretty bad breakup, and it seemed to him that the only solution was to move back to Peterborough for a little bit, and a little bit ended up being, a year and a half, and him kind of getting comfortable and thinking, what, maybe I just need to get a job, doing construction in Peterborough, make some money, and, maybe I can get back into it. And he just ended up just kind of staying in Peterborough and doing like a pretty mundane but well-paid job. But you could just tell like he was a different person when you talk to him. And then it eventually took a bunch of great friends to kind of say, you know what, man, we think that you need to come back to Toronto and start thinking about the things that you love. And I think everyone's kind of been there, especially in the music scene. There's really good times and high times, and then there's low times. And I ended up making a joke about how how Peterborough, although I love Peterborough and I'm so proud to be from Peterborough, and there's like a bunch of talent that comes out of that city. I refer to it as the pit sometimes, because it's just like people who go back, they fall into that pit, and it's really hard to climb out unless you have people to reach down and help you back up.
For sure. Does his friend know that the song was about him, and if so, what has his reaction been?
He actually doesn't know that it's about him. I had a conversation with him kind of like about it and referring to the song as relatable. I mean, I was saying, I'm sure you can relate to this song, but I never really told him that this is exactly about him, just because like he is a friend, but I just didn't want to he's not a close enough friend for me to feel comfortable being like, dude, I wrote this really dark song about you, and it's about basically it's about basically failing. And I didn't ever want to really say it that way, but I'm sure someday that I can spin it a little more positively once he's in a really good place. He's been doing a lot better lately, so I think it'll only be a matter of time before he either realizes or I just plain old tell him when I'm having a few drinks.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning earlier how this song has a different feel compared to what you guys have put out previously. Well, what do you think the style of this song tells the audience about you guys? Sonically, this song is a little bit heavier and hard hitting than the other ones. Basically, I just think that it shows a little more of our taste in music. And the best thing about our band, I find, is that we have, our bassist Brett is a big time metalhead. Like, he listens to metal, he listens to metal, electronica, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm all over the map. Like, I listen to singer-songwriter stuff, but I also listen to a lot of. I grew up on Nine Inch Nails and Queens of the Stone Age, and I think that that those kind of influences show. And I think it's great when a band branches out and does something that you don't expect from them, because we could have kind of went two ways with our new release, and it was either go for a really like a singer-songwriter style song. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are still waiting for that. But we felt that, let's just put out something there that we just absolutely love to play. And at the time when we got a free song at Metalworks, we were like, you know what? The Pit is the one that we all enjoy the most,
this is a room at Metalworks where you can actually play as a band, all four of you at once, and get that true live sound and that live energy to come through. And we thought, you know what, why don't we play a song that we just all have a blast playing together, and we'll get it live off the floor and then, you know, build from there. And I think it was, the perfect song to pick for that environment. Plus it was Metalworks. We didn't want to come out of Metalworks with like an acoustic, like an acoustic reverby kind of sound. We wanted to come out with something really tight and in that rock spectrum, because, you know, a bunch of our favorite bands, there's a bunch of Billy Talent records, you know, sitting up there, the gold records, and Alexis on Fire stuff, and we were like, you know what, why don't we just like pay tribute to the bands that have recorded here that we are influenced by.
Right. Now, with that said, would you say that this is a showcase for the type of direction you guys would like to evolve into moving down the road?
I mean, we don't want to really go in just one direction, but I think this is a way to tell fans that we are going to appeal to many different tastes, because naturally, as a music listener, I think most people do have a vast amount of music that they listen to. The most common response to what kind of music do you listen to now is, I listen to everything, but, and then fill in the blank with rap or country or something like that. So I think that, you know, it is a nice way to tell fans that we will be putting out some heavier, hard-hitting stuff, but also, you know, I'd like to remind them that, you know, the things that we did on our first EP they still ring true to us, so we will still be playing those kind of songs as well. But I think the experimental element of the Pit, I mean, we didn't have all day to experiment, but I think it was definitely nice to go into Metalworks and mess around with some, you know, new pedals. This is our first time in the studio since we got our new gear after the Next Big Thing competition and everything. So it was really cool to just go in there and mess around with the space.